Hello, my name is Mordred Viking, and I'd like to welcome you to this stream of Hearts of Iron 4, where we are doing things a bit differently because currently chat on Twitch is not working, so we are instead using Discord. If you want to join in with the chat, then please do use the link in the description below. Unfortunately, I don't have a custom URL yet, so I can't just post up like Discord/Mordred Viking. It has to be the squiggly weird numbers. So it's much easier to link in the description. There should be... Actually, let me just double check. Is there actually a link down there? Because there should be. Yes, there is. Excellent. So people know where to go. Cool. Thanks, Twitch, for being annoying. So, we are playing as the Netherlands. Certainly not known otherwise, and alternatively, as Dutchland. And we are at war with Japan. That is the main situation going on right now. They've tried to do a couple of forced landings, but we have got the main man himself, Conrad Helfrich, guarding the Java Sea and basically sinking any ships that even come remotely close to him. I actually went and looked him up between streams. He's an interesting character. You should totally do that. Just look up Conrad Helfrich on Twitter. No, not Twitter. Sorry, a Twitter message just came up. On Wikipedia. Because apparently, when the war in the Pacific started, so when the Allies went to war with Japan, Helfrich, with his small group of submarines, sank more ships in the opening weeks of that war than the entire fleet of Britain and the United States combined. That's how effective a commander he was. So definitely somebody that deserves to know a little bit more. Deserves to be known a little bit more. Can't stream on YouTube, I don't want to start doing that. Just went on Shem's stream, he seemed to be reading from his chat, but no messages came through from me. I wonder if this is just the European servers that are having problems. I'm suspecting that many of you are in the European. So if you keep seeing me looking down like this, it's because chat's currently on my phone. So, I was going to say, chat, please tell chat that we're not on chat, but that obviously wouldn't work. Because chat's not working. This is going to be an interesting stream. So, anyway, we have got most of our islands, in fact all of our islands, garrisoned pretty well. We have got 40 divisions currently doing that under Gottfried Forst Totvorst. Then Winkelmann is our overall commander. Oh, the other thing about Helfrich actually, which was interesting, is a couple of people mentioned the Battle of Java yesterday during the stream, which was like a catastrophic loss for the Allies, and that is when Dutch Indonesia fell to the Japanese. He unfortunately was in command of that one. And my other admiral, who I have very mixed feelings about, and I in fact fired, Karel Doorman, was killed in that battle. So an admiral was killed. I'm not sure how many admirals were killed throughout the entire war, but that's got to be one of few. I think the Allies were a bit nervous about the Dutch sinking ships like it went out of style. The Germans did with their U-boats. The US later adopted the same aggressive strategy. So submarine death fleet is a viable option now. I mean, you have to do the right things to make it effective. I've invested extremely heavily in my submarine fleet. We have got pretty good advanced subs, which are pretty well equipped as well. And we have Conrad Helfrich, who makes Dönitz look like a complete beginner when it comes to submarine tactics. The other thing which I've done, which I've been promising myself to do for a very long time, is I have finally taken the time and done an actual analysis on paper, because I'm old school, comparing Fleet and Being to Trade Interdiction to Base Strike, much like I did one of my tutorial videos for the Land Doctrines, which is when I, at that point, realised, you know what, Grand Battle Plan is amazing. It's not amazing anymore. But I've done that for the naval warfare stuff, and I've also done that for the air doctrines. And my feelings on operational integrity have not really changed. It just doesn't do anything that's interesting. So, a couple of little things I just wanted to bring up. I may do a tutorial video about these in the future because it is a topic which I think is worth exploring. But generally, if you want a fleet which is an all-rounded fleet, it's very capable of doing pretty much everything, no real weaknesses, but also no particular strengths, Fleet and Being is your boy. Fleet and Being is an excellent jack-of-all-trades doctrine. It does have the best destroyers in the entire game, with 60 organization, which, believe me, is a lot. They have good submarine detection, they have good surface detection, both submarines and cruisers. Not all fleets are very good with their cruisers, but fleet and being cruisers are pretty decent. They have the highest escort efficiency, so they are the best at defending their own convoys. Their submarines, surprisingly, are actually not terrible. Not as good as trade interdiction, not by a long way, but I think their subs are better than base strike. I'll just double check if that's true. No, their subs are about the same as base strike, but by no means incompetent. Fleet and being submarines are really, really strong. The only thing where they're lacking a little bit is their carriers aren't great. They do have more hit points. Well, actually, everyone has hit points because everyone actually has the capital ship armor bonus, which I didn't realise. So their carriers don't have a huge amount of organisation. Fleet and being battleships are fantastic. They're really, really strong, but they are not as strong in a fleet and being as, say, the carriers are for base strike. So you still want to have a well-rounded mixed fleet. I think the main thing with a fleet and being is their small ships. Their screens are excellent. Light cruisers, destroyers, both really, really strong. Destroyers, I would say, are slightly better in battles, but if you actually just want recon fleets, then you probably actually want to use light cruisers, because the light cruiser surface detection and submarine detection is higher than that of the destroyers, which is kind of an interesting one. Yay, spreadsheet warfare, exactly. So I'm just going to go through this really quickly. The other advantage which Fleet and Being has, which nobody else has at all, is they have a bonus to mine laying. They're the only one who has that. I think that's everything I wanted to say about them. Oh, Fleet and Being are the only ones with an anti-air bonus for their ships as well. Every single one of their ships gets an anti-air bonus. 10% better. So again, light cruisers. I think destroyers and light cruisers, like a bit more of a mix than you may otherwise use. Moving on to trade interdiction. Trade interdiction had a couple of things which really surprised me. First of all, something which really doesn't surprise me, their submarines are freaking fantastic. Trade interdiction subs are kind of strong. They're not actually as strong compared to the others as I thought they would be. So, for example, trade interdiction, you can get 50 organisation with submarines, while the others can get 40 organisation, which isn't a humongous difference. But they do have a 50% convoy rating bonus, whereas Fleet and Being has a 15% bonus and Base Strike has a 15% bonus. So that is a humongous difference. They are absolutely extraordinary at convoy rating, which is unsurprising, particularly against Base Strike. Base Strike is going to struggle to stop them. The other thing which is surprising about them is cruisers. Light and heavy have a 50% convoy rating bonus. Battle cruisers have a 50% convoy rating bonus. And most bonkers of all, battleships have a 50% convoy rating bonus. So all of their ships, with the exception of destroyers, which under trade interdiction are absolutely garbage, can do convoy rating. So with the trade interdiction, if you do need a surface fleet, go with light cruisers, battle cruisers, and probably battleships. They all have a decent amount of organisation, and in fact the light cruisers for trade interdiction do have more organisation than Fleet and Being, but less than Base Strike. All of their surface fleets, perfectly capable. They can do well. Their carriers are actually significantly better than the Fleet and Being carriers. The submarines are ridiculous, and they have uniquely 20% bonus submarine hit points. Nobody else gets that. And they get a 10% bonus to submarine attack. And submarines have a really good chance of detecting surface fleets. 50% bonus for carriers. No, for submarines versus the usual 25. Ooh, speaking of Fleet and Being, actually, one interesting thing about the Fleet and Being is their carriers are amazing at detecting submarines. They have a 50% bonus to submarine detection. Most ships have like a 25-30%, but Fleet and Being carriers, 50%. I don't know what the planes do. They might add more. I'm not sure. So yeah, destroyers with trade interdiction are completely and utterly garbage. They have 10 organisation, which is nothing. They do have a tiny bit of surface detection of 5. They are rubbish at detecting surface. And they have a submarine detection and a surface detection of 0. Like they're so bad. Light cruisers come out a little bit better. They have a surface detection of 30, as do the heavy cruisers. And they have a naval targeting bonus, which Base Strike also have. So, yeah, don't use destroyers with trade interdiction. Do use light cruisers, do use battle cruisers and battleships, heavy cruisers if you have to. and submarines. Use lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of submarines. Which raises the next problem. They have almost no submarine detection. So if you're playing as trade interdiction against someone else with trade interdiction, you are both going to lose basically all of your convoys. So for example, I feel like one of the problems that we were struggling against Germany is we were not finding their submarines. Yeah, we can't. We basically have no submarine detection, so we're going to do a humongous amount of damage to German trade. They're going to do a humongous amount of damage to Dutch trade, and there's no real way of stopping them. So finding enemy submarines, the only ones who are really at all capable of it is no one. Like, that 5% sub-detection bonus that trade interdiction destroyers get is the highest it gets. It's truly abysmal. Even light cruisers have no bonus to submarine detection, so that is going to be extremely, extremely difficult. Then finally, base strike, which is the doctrine I've played as the least, but is actually very interesting in a couple of ways. First of all, their screens are excellent, both destroyers and light cruisers. Light cruisers, compared to fleet and being, are incredible. They have double the organization that the trade interdiction light cruisers have. The destroyers have almost as much organization as the fleet and being do. The heavy cruisers and battle cruisers have absolutely zero bonuses, so do not use heavy cruisers or battle cruisers as base strike, only use carriers and battleships, although even the battleships suck, so only really use the carriers, and this is where things really get interesting. So fleet and being carrier organization plus 30. Trade interdiction carrier organization plus 60, and plus 60 is already the highest stat of any ship. So of course base strike could come in with a bonus of 120 organization for carriers. It's like they're never going to run. They're just not going to do it. So yeah, base strike carriers really strong, which is further compounded by a bonus to port strike damage by plus 50%, which is ridiculous. And that includes land-based naval bombers. So if you're port strike, use your naval bombers to hit their port. So use your carriers to do the damage, force them to retreat, start repairing, and then bomb those ports. That's the base strike method. They have good naval targeting, 40% bonus. I don't actually know what that one does though, so I can't really comment. And base strike has a overcrowding bonus of 20, so they can basically, I think, squeeze one more carrier into a battle. I don't know the exact stats. I think it's something like 3 carriers, and then things get overcrowded. So they might be able to get 4 in, something like that. I'm not sure. I'll need to check that one out. And their naval aircraft, so the carrier aircraft, get an agility bonus too. So base strike, really good screens, destroyers, light cruisers. They have decent submarine detection, 25, and yeah, 25 for destroyers and cruisers. They have decent escorting, 30% rather than fleet and being's 45, but it's still good compared to 5% for trade interdiction. So probably light cruisers and carriers would be the combo for base strikes, submarines, or light cruisers, battle cruisers, possibly battleships if you can afford them for the trade interdiction, and then just a mix. Probably with less carriers, but a mix for fleet and being. So there you go. That is something I've been meaning to do a long time. And I finally did it, so I can tell you about which naval doctrines to use in which situation. I've got all the numbers written down, so I can refer to that in the future. And I will at some point talk about the aerial stuff. Suffice to say, I am just so horribly unimpressed by operational integrity. It really does nothing that's interesting compared to the other two. At all. The only thing which is actually in their favour is both of these have like either or paths, so you have to choose either that way or that way. This one doesn't have any, so you can get every single one. That's it, though. That's it. It's horrible. Let me just see what Discord's saying. East Coast servers froze all streams on the same time earlier. Just one of those days at Twitch. Yeah, Twitch is definitely having a really bad day. Did test for the US and you couldn't see mine, Mordred, and I don't see anyone. Yeah, I'm not seeing any chat whatsoever. So there is definitely something bizarre and bonkers going on there. This Discord chat feels wrong for some reason. Yeah, it's all dark instead of light. It's strange. Okay, so let's get on with the game itself. We do have a couple of naval battles going on up here. Japanese submarines are trying to chase down the British or the convoys coming through here. I think we are, based on my observations, going to have to rely on the others to find enemy convoys for us, or enemy submarines. What we could do is just strap on as many sub-detection modifiers onto our ships as possible. Because it just means that we basically have to have float planes, radar, and sonar to find submarines, because the ships themselves aren't going to get any bonuses to detection. They can still do it, they just don't get the bonuses that the others have. And Japan is base strike, so their submarines aren't going to be particularly good either. That's right? Convoy rating efficiency 15%. Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah! Trade interdiction also gets a visibility bonus on cruisers, battle cruisers, and battleships. Nobody else gets a visibility bonus, so trade interdiction are also just harder to find. Unless you have really good surface detection. That does not include submarines, though. It's just cruisers, battle cruisers, and battleships. Good to know. Wait, does that really not include submarines? I feel like I missed something. Submarines, torpedo, attack, torpedo, hit points. No, because the visibility are here. See there? Surface visibility minus 10, surface visibility minus 10, surface visibility minus 20, and then battleship surface visibility minus 25. So battleships are probably actually going to be about as difficult to find as battle cruisers. They're just not going to be quite as quick, which I thought was very interesting. But then my opinion of what's interesting is different. How can you not see chat? I keep on typing. Yeah, it's just not working. Wish you did this in the spreadsheet so I could look. I could do that. Trade interdiction seems a bit OP. It's not, because they have no protection against submarines. They're excellent at hunting down other people's convoys and sinking their fleets, but don't forget that fleet in being is also pretty good at hunting submarines, especially if you mix in a carrier. Right, where are my aircraft? We're actually having a bit of battle for the skies for the South China Sea. That's interesting. Might need to bring in a couple more heavy fighters for that one. We don't really have enough at the moment. I think I might move the Bismarck Sea fleet over here to go and help out. So I don't particularly need to keep an eye on the Bismarck Sea, I don't think. I think most of the fighting is going to be around here. Cool. And I just love how the Allies are just so heavily defending this. Oh, they're taking so much attrition as well. Oh, for Pete's sake, Allies. What are you doing? Oh, Japan's reached the borders with France. The Japanese are on the borders of Vietnam, and in fact they're also going to be bordering... No, they're not. Yes, they are. Because the Yunnan Free thingy is Japanese. So that's why a lot of allies are moving over here. Okay, good. At least they are in position. The Brits lost a convoy, but then they also sank a submarine. And the Australians lost a couple. What am I going to do about these Japanese submarines? They could do as much damage to me as I'm going to potentially do to them. I mean, we do have one of the Bussy class light cruisers. We've already attached sonar to you. Yeah, you know what we need to do is we need to have sonar here and radar here. That's going to increase my submarine detection by +3. Let's go ahead and do that for that one. Is it worth it for one ship? Probably. Am I still researching better radar? I am. So in 50 days we get upgraded radar. I think I'm going to wait for that, and then we'll get those radar. Let's continue with the encryption. Actually, 42. Hold on. Those are 43. We've already got those for 42. We do need to continue down the air line, though I don't think that's critical. Those are 44s. These are 40s. Also, upgraded homing torpedoes is one that I do want, so let's go and spend some points on that. And planes are trying to find their submarines. Unfortunately, we're using tactical bombers here. But then again, they do find something once in a blue moon. So we really are going to need to try and just get more radar in this area. And I think I'm going to make the radar the primary focus right now. As much as I want the naval bases, we need to make sure that we have convoy sinking capacity, so I'm not wasting stuff on building more convoys. Okay, now we're starting to hunt down the subs. This is better. We've got some convoys. The light cruiser's trying, bless him. Sank another sub. He's coming in. And the aircraft are there, so maybe we need to get a couple more naval bombers in this region too. We could actually get another stack of naval fighters. I don't think we need it. I think I'm going to grab... Those aren't bombers. Do we have any bombers anywhere? The only place that we have bombers are here. Hang on, didn't I have more? Where's all me bombers? I have 3 sets. They're in the Philippines. Okay, so let's have you housed down here and focusing on the Java Sea. And you're currently port striking. That's what was going on. I remember now, vaguely. But they are really trying to hit me hard with the submarines. They are starting to learn. Hey, chat's back. Hi, chat. I have missed you. So, you no longer need to use Discord chat if you want to move over to Twitch chat again. It is now working. Drain the ocean. No ocean? No submarines. Yeah, but then my submarines can't hide either. How does the Free France focus tree look? I don't think there is one. Have a look. I'm pretty sure that's true. Nope. It's a... Yeah, it's the French tree. And it's a bloody tiny tree. Crikey, I forgot how bad these vanilla ones are. Huzzah! Troubleshooter, starting the gifted subs. Thank you so much for that. Jishizzle, welcome to the Mordlings. Congratulations on getting the gift sub, and Troubleshooter, thank you very, very much for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, we sank another sub to celebrate. A sub for a sub. There's a ratio I like. Alright, let me just go and get rid of this notification, because we don't need it anymore. And I might just get rid of the Discord chat now. Delete channel, yes. And it's gone. It served its purpose, and it purposely served. Purposefully served, not purposely. You know what I mean. Tea! That's a very good point. I haven't had any tea yet. Thanks for the reminder, chat. Tea! Exactly. What time is high tea? I mean, traditionally 11. 11sies would be another name for it. AM, not PM. No tea till you take back Holland. It's impossible! How can one fight if there is no tea? Tea is the fuel of war. You know, an empire was built on the stuff. That's a lot of convoys, and that's a lot of submarines. Crap. Kind of glad I brought these extra planes in now. Can I see anywhere what my spotting is like? No. And how long till that radar is done? 39 days. I'm definitely upgrading the light cruiser at that point. 9. Ouch. Yeah, they found the way to get to me now. Base war support gained. Let the war for the Java really begin now. Stop copying my strategy, Japan. Just because I'm better at it than you are. Just outproduce them. Yeah. Outproduce Japan with my 11 naval dockyards to their 46. They have 4 times more than I do. Although we are catching quite a few of them. The naval bombers are actually doing a surprisingly good job with that. hopefully being helped by the radar stations as they get developed. Can we actually get any, like, information about how likely we are to detect enemy shipping? Effect of our air superiority on naval supremacy, so that's 10% from that. We have no bomb or no mines here. We're not avoiding it. They do have a visibility reduction, but then so do my convoys. And my subs. And my light cruisers. Shark-infested waters. Casualties on sink, plus 60%. And it's currently raining, which doesn't help. Oh. Stormy! Fleet speed while retreating. Fast. You know what? The Air Force is actually doing some work here. Okay, so I think I found what the counter is to submarines when playing as a trade interdiction nation. Naval bombers. Lend-lease. You want to send me support equipment? I will accept your support equipment. And that is another land doctrine. So now we need to decide between air-land battle and shock and awe. Shock and awe is just generally more shock attack. It also gives us the recon company reconnaissance. But I think it's also more organization. Yes, it is. So this is damage and organization. This one does come with the air superiority bonus of plus 20%, which makes it easier to get air superiority. Nope, it gives you a bonus to air superiority. That's not the air superiority mission. It's a separate thing. But I don't know that I can necessarily be guaranteed air superiority, so I think we're going to go with shock and awe. And we'll research that the old-fashioned way. Not with experience. I wonder if you can make tea out of tulips. Why would you want to make tea out of tulips? Well, I guess if you mash up tulips, you might be able to get more value out of those tulips and therefore sell them for more. It's just good business. Wow, we really are doing a number on their submarines here. Crikey. Yeah, they're still catching us from time to time. How many subs are we sinking here? Crikey. Oh, they're attacking me. Let's go and send you to here quickly, because they're actually attacking me with a tank by sea. And once you've arrived, you can walk there just normally and regain your organization as you do so. Depth charge mortar. That's still not radar, but that is going to be a useful upgrade. We can't get the 44 stuff yet. I'm not going to bother with destroyers now I know how bad they are. We could do the medium caliber armor piercing shell. Gives our cruisers more damage, especially the light cruisers, which would be very useful. I'm not going to... no, I'm not going to spend the 50. Cruisers sunk. Not 5 convoys even. More convoys. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that these are some naval invasions I'm intercepting here. Alright, I need to know, how many ships am I sinking currently? Because it's a lot. Lost ships. Japan. Current month. 34 submarines. This month I have sunk 34 submarines. That's crazy. They are sinking more of my convoys than we're sinking of theirs. But we're doing some serious attrition. They are only tier 1s though. So it's not really a surprise that we're managing to hunt them down. Oh, they got a straight crossing. But that guy is completely stuck there.